I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And, whoa. Everybody's gone. The baby was in here. They all have fun faces.
Booby's gone.
Ghosty's
You know,
gone.
my brother asked for the white woman in distress shirt. He's like, yo, when is that shirt coming? We're currently in a giant war with...
Teespring.
With Teespring.
I'm so mad. I was thinking about it today. Every time I see those stupid sweatshirts that are poorly printed, I get angry. I'm like, I have to let this go.
I know.
But not until I speak to someone.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, we are doing Iron Maiden. It's been a while, and it looks like this one is alive.
We've been doing a bunch of underground songs because we're trying to catch up, honor our patrons and our alliances. Speaking of which, was this an alliance pick or was this
No.
There's a $75 partner tier, which is going away in March 1.
Right.
And after that, it's going to go to $1.25. But if you get the request in prior to March 1, we will honor it as a February request. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what we decided
I'm just
on?
distracted because I can hear my baby going, "Bleh!"
Too bad. We have to work, bitch. Okay.
Yes, we are going to do that.
That gets you right to the head of the line. It's like in Disney World, you know, when they have the thingamajiggy.
Fast pass.
Fast pass, yes. And if if you've done it 3 or 4 times before, then we're just going to grandfather you in at the $75
That's if
rate.
you have the 3 or 4, and so you're already there. You've been there consistently for that amount.
Well, that's
of
what I'm
months.
saying. If there's 3 months have passed and you're at the $75
And you're still on $75,
rate,
then you can
we're
stay
gonna
there.
grandfather you in and keep you at that rate.
Yep. So there are a few of you there. So
Right. Well, there's a couple people there.
yeah.
So, but the good news
Some people are like, I just jumped off.
Well, so if they jumped off, so if they did 4 and then they jumped off, they don't get it?
Message me.
Yeah, if you jumped off, and you
I
did
know I'm a
4
capitalist, but I'm also soft on certain areas.
Yeah,
so.
if you jumped off and you did 4 messages, evil capitalist, sorry, I'm sure she'll make an exception for you, inshallah.
Especially if you put something funny in the message.
She doesn't let me handle those because she knows what I'll do. Hey, you get a shirt, you get a shirt, you get a shirt, don't the visual!
Why do this for 75? It's free!
We usually have a time limit, but since it's what do you call it? Iron Maiden. We're gonna do it. Also, guys, there's a $1 partner. There's a $1 tier on Patreon, which gets you into a community and all that jazz, which is my favorite version.
It's a community on Discord, so if you're like, I'm not a Facebook user, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be on Facebook.
And there's going to be a video forthcoming.
Yes.
All right. This is Red and the Black. Oh, for timely topical political commentary, if you want to find out why Vincent is the most frustrating person on the internet, that's a dar. You can check me out in Middle America with Vin and Sori. Okay.
Links in the description.
Links
bitches.
in the description. The Red and Black, let's
go.
Yes, Iron Maiden. Talk to me.
It was only in one ear. I was like, no, this can't be. I can't have Iron Maiden in one ear.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy
now.
killing a bass guitar. Talk him.
And the color. I can't wait to go to another show. Ah!
in Iron Maiden withdrawal.
I know. There was like, oh my word, there was like a middle part in there that was so beautiful. I mean, I'm sure you could tell by my reaction to it, but it was so, man, I just love what they did with the guitar and the bass and even the drums. It just, I don't know, it just sounded so good. So much of this sounded so good. I cannot believe these guys are like this age and still,
I know.
You know, like this one guy here was like,
I know. These guys are,
he was very, this guy, the blondish looking guy.
They're not spring chickens.
No, but he was going
chickens.
all over that stage, man.
Yeah, he was truly, he was crushing. He was crushing. I couldn't believe it.
This is live.
I know.
Like, any time that somebody can pull off something live, I agree with you 1000%. When we first started the channel, you used to say that, and I was like, yeah, but I mean, now that I've been to some shows, and I can see, like, there are times where I'm like, wait, what? How?
There are very stark differences.
How does this work? But then there are other times where you're like, wow, that sounds amazing. And like you said, that just, there's so many things that you have to factor in when you're going to be at a show, and what things are going to sound with and sound like, and what things are going to change when there's people in the room, and I don't know, there's just so many factors. But
yeah, just the musicianship, man, is so inspiring. Yeah, I know some people are going to be like, some of the scales are simple, that it doesn't matter. It's about the emotion that the music brings out of you. You know, like, there's a reason that these freaking guys are still going around touring the world, man.
Yeah.
You know, and like, every time every time I see one of these shows on video, especially live, the fans are always like so young they could be the grand
absolutely,
children of the band.
Yeah.
Like, they just, I forgot who it was. It was, I forgot the name of the band.
They know how to draw a crowd.
The band was, we were arguing about Biggie and you know, modern rappers. And I was like, you can take a Biggie record, put it in now, and it's not dated. It doesn't have a dated sound. Like,
oh yeah.
And lyrically, like, nobody can mess with Biggie. And Iron Maiden is like the Biggie of metal, or Biggie is the Iron Maiden of rap, you know, because obviously Iron Maiden came out first. But I mean, man,
it's just wild. You just look at these, like, there's
look
so
how
many young
they
people.
are. They're like, you know,
there was like another clip that I saw where it looked like there was also, like, there was all these young people, and then right beside him was like an older guy. Like, look at that guy.
Right.
Gray haired.
Right. But still
he's rocking.
Yeah, still rocking. They must have been in the Philippines or something like that, because a lot of Asian looking folks.
Yeah. I don't know. It just, wow, just incredible. Just incredible that people, it's really, you have to shout out to human beings. Because, like, when everything first started, however you believe everything started, obviously we believe that God created everything, but still at the beginning, we didn't have instruments, we didn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, like, to figure out how to put together these type of instruments and master them to the, not even just mastering one, but mastering multiple people, mastering multiple instruments, and then putting them together that doesn't sound like an explosion, but just sounds like, wow, that's music, man.
I was in 2 bands for 3 minutes and 28 seconds total, and that was one of the hardest things to do. Was
I bet.
Well, the drummer was the highest talent in the band, like, by far.
Yeah.
Like literal miles away from everybody else. But it was just so hard to get the lead parts and the rhythm parts to work together, and the ideas and all of, and then timing.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
I would just be like, man, like, and you'd have these ideas in your head about what the song sounds like, and what it's supposed to sound like, and then when you play it, it does not sound that way. And then the other guy comes in and goes, oh, okay, keep playing it. You see, play it on loop. The other guy comes in and he puts his stuff in, and it's just like, this is not what I envisioned, you know? Because you know, like, when we work on songs, like, I got the whole thing in my head, and you do this, you do that, and, you know, it works out fine because it's, you know, it's rap, and, you know, so it's like, oh, okay, Vin has all the...
Well, yeah, but we don't have as many angles. Like, we're not making our own beat.
Correct. We're not... Right. Then that's the difference.
We have an established beat that we're working with.
Right. Whereas...
These people,
by the way, that's coming soon once we can find an actual producer. But these people are they're doing everything. and it's unbelievable.
Mind-blowing.
Like, the way that they can get it together and deal with all the human, to make a 13-minute song that is just completely enjoyable.
A journey.
I don't have a problem per se with massively long songs, although 13, I think the limit at the $75 tier was 10 minutes, but we made an exception because it's Iron Maiden.
We can make exceptions wherever we want.
So
I didn't expect exception for you too. You know who you are.
So but man, and they took a big chunk where they just went with the music and boom, we're just gonna go with the music.
Yeah, it's so crazy because when the music was happening, I forgot that there was a singer.
Right.
But then when the singer came back, I was like, oh, he's good.
Yeah, and then those crowd participation moments. Whoa,
yes.
That's being at the Korn show with Alice in Chains, because we were in the crowd with Alice in Chains. We were backstage with Korn.
Right.
I was 5 feet away from my friends.
We have a video on our channel if you want to check that. See the journey.
So it's one of those things where it's like, man, and you see everybody, they had all their phones, their cell phones, and you're just seeing a sea of light.
And, so pretty. It was fireflies.
I've never actually been to a rap show. So, I'm about to say something that I don't really have a real corollary to, but I just don't think there's any other type of music that can bring people together. That happened when I saw Metallica live, and everybody, I think it was Fade to Black or something. Everybody had their lighters up.
Well,
and you just see thousands of points of lights everywhere. It's just amazing.
I think that there are different types of music that are going to bring people together, but I think the way that metal brings people together is such a unique thing because it's a lot of people that listen to metal, we've experienced certain levels of pain.
Right.
And we've, some people just will, bury their pain, some people, kind of embrace their pain, and I feel like the metal community is okay, yeah, this is not going to wreck me. This is us. And there's a community that's here within that. So there's the beauty of all the lights, but then you feel the crowd coming together because there's this unity that's there. It's just very interesting.
The only other time I've seen that in a crowd full of people is at a worship thingy where the big worship band shows up and all that is happening. And I'm sure some of our Christian friends are like, how could you say that?
So did you feel that sort of closeness at the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah. I'm not dissing other genres, obviously, because I originated in hip-hop, so obviously I'm not dissing the hip-hop genre. I'm just saying the collective communal experience that happens at a rock show is just, it's just not gonna happen. It's just not going to happen anywhere else.
Yep.
It's just not. This is ridiculous. Look at this.
Honey, I know. I just got a glimpse of that. And I feel like laughing.
Look, this guy's struggling. Is that a woman?
It's a woman. They're women.
Oh,
they're women.
Yeah, there's some engine or something underneath that. Okay. But, yeah, you're just not... I'm sorry. You just can't convince me. Hey, somebody's getting me a ticket to an Eminem show or something like that. It's just not going to be the same. It's just... Sorry.
Well, I think there's just a different feel, and you probably appreciate the different feel at each type of concert. Actually, that is something that would be fun to do, like a concert tour for us. You know what I mean? Trying out different genres and being chronicling it for our thing, being so we went to a...
might hit the road.
You know what I mean? That would be really fun. Maybe that's when we're older. I don't know.
Yeah.
We've got so many kids right now.
Yeah, but the musicianship here was just maddeningly good. Really, really, really good stuff. God Almighty. And then lyrically, I think what's happening here is this guy probably has some sort of gambling addiction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think in the middle part, the Blackjack King and the Red Queen clash.
Oh.
The Artful Dodger counts his stats. The Joker's wild like an English child, while Madame Fortune, she waits inside. The Good Look Charm is overkill. The title, the soldier says fire at will. Planes overhead go search, destroy. The ones below, human decoy. So it's
Scroll up. I saw the 4-leaf clover thing. I'm not gonna... scroll up to the top. there was something, suppress the demons that plague the night. A tortured mind is a safe place to go. But the truth lurks down in the dark below. Step inside my inquisitive mind. Are you scared of what you just might find? I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and laughing sorrow inside your head can't get out. Can't get out just a feeling of dread. I know this burden's a heavy load, a dark mistake, never-ending road. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I never really got into gambling. My family has a massively addictive personality, and we're very extreme, so gambling is always something I generally stayed away from. Although, you know, now I'm at the point where I feel like...
Oh.
Now I'm at the point where I feel like I'm able to balance things out a little bit more.
I'm because I kept saying I want to go try. I want to try one slot machine.
Right. Well, it's because I've experienced so many very extreme things.
Yeah.
You know, like in the past 5 years, to where it was like, you know, being at the edge of a lot of things and being like and then okay, you made it. Now you're safe, and it's like, so I feel like the mechanism where like you have to have like that rush. Like I think that's pretty much. I don't want to say it's gone, but like. The thirst for it and all that people have when they have these addictions has been satiated because I've had so many very extreme experiences in the last 5 years, and so now like I would be okay with it. But like I can just imagine being like a hard luck, down on your luck guy, and this idea that, man, if fate goes your way for one night, everything changes and you're set for life and your kids are set for life.
Yeah.
Like. That draw is pretty.
That draw has shipwrecked many people.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's it's wrecked and ruined probably hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
But and then the problem is that they're the one guy that it didn't wreck, the one guy that it worked on.
Right.
Then becomes the reason that another set of millions of people get wrecked.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Because, you know, so
I remember there was someone that we were hanging around with, and the husband had like a major gambling issue.
JF?
Yeah. And it was crazy because like I found somebody was like, I think he was talking about himself. You know, he was like, yeah, during the night, like I get up and I go to the computer, and I just immediately thought that he was like sneaking out of his bed to go like look at porn and stuff. And then he said that he was gambling, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, he's gambling, that's better than but then like as I have matured, I'm like, how frustrating for his wife. Like, we did have a tax return.
You did.
But we don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's my stepdad, he would kind of, but he was always a very weird, but like he never went crazy with it, never. But there's one time that he won, like when we came to America, they had won like 10 grand or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So
my uncle was like, I don't know. I really, really think there are some people that are lucky and there are some people that are not. And he was just lucky, man. Everything he signed up for. I remember that at the mall they had this big derby car. It was like this big car that kids get, and he was like, I'm gonna put your brother's name in there. And I thought, there's no way in the world. He won it. Like, he won so many things in his life. And then you'll get other people that are like, we've had times where we passed out shirts to people and they were like, I've literally never won anything in my life. I can't believe this. And I'm like, I really believe in some people just have bad luck and some people have good luck. Some people just win at everything.
That was the Proverbs 16, the lot is cast into the lap, but the Lord determines the outcome.
Yep. I don't know why.
So like here it's fate, but you know, obviously for
stuff
us,
works out for you too. Like you get, like I get. Yes, you've had a very difficult life. There's been a lot of horrible things that have happened around you and stuff. But at the same time, like lucky things happen to you. Stuff works out for you where it doesn't. Like for me, if I'm late for an appointment, when I get there, they're gonna tell me my appointment's canceled, and they're gonna tell me I should have been here 15 minutes ago. If he's with me, forget about it. I walk in, I sign in, I sit down. They're like, "Yep," and then they call me. It's like, no.
You think that's luck, or I carry a certain energy?
Well, no, because I'm saying like, if it was just me, the doctor would have already called me, and I didn't go back. But But with you, the doctor happens to be behind today. Like, stuff just works out. Or, you know, we'll just like go.
Well, I've been in certain situations and I've come back clean. And
yes, I
like,
know,
how
and you're lucky.
The hell did you come back clean out of blah, 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 blah?
Yeah.
You know.
Forget about it. I feel like that you could go in and you could, like, steal a bunch of stuff from a store and not get caught. And for me, like, a feather from that thing gets stuck on me and they're like, "You're going to jail, lady!" I'm like, I can't help it if I'm staticky.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, you know, it's that, there was that movie we saw, and I'm gonna be very, very general, but it's one of those, like, tragic hero movies where the guy, you knew that he was doomed. At least I knew the guy was doomed.
Did I see this?
Yeah, you saw it. It was me, you, and Jamie. We saw the movie together. And I knew that the guy was doomed right from the beginning of the movie. It was one of those things where it's like,
I kind of had that
fate
too, but
and fate and things of that nature, and like you could just tell, like, this is that's one of the things with gambling. It's like, okay, like, when do you stop? Like, oh, I've got $10,000 in debt, and you win 12 grand. It's like, okay, you cleared your debt. So God's like, all right, you cleared your debt. Mashallah tabaraka, good for you. Mm-hmm. But then that other voice comes and says, yo,
but
if you split this extra 2K and put 1K in there, then you lose the 1K, and you go, well, if you split this 1K and you put 5 in there, and you lose the 5, and you go, well, shit, man, you got to use that other 5 to make up for the 2K that you lost. And then, you know, at the end of the night, the guy's digging into the
oh, I know. And
he's now, you know, so it's just it's an insidious type of, and, you know, that's one of the things where I'm always, and some of this is like, you know, I always have I always put a higher premium on reading people than reading books. So, like, if a person is very, very good at reading human nature, they are always, always, always going to have an advantage over a book smart person. Always. And that's one of the things that happens.
Well, you got a lucky draw there because you're good at both.
Well, I don't think you can be good at reading. You know what I mean?
But we had this discussion before. Yep.
Yeah.
He read a story when he was like 5, and he remembers all the details of it.
It was King Midas.
It doesn't matter.
With the golden touch. This is not like some random story where I remember line 3 on page
You remember
7.
all kinds of random stuff. I'll read something like,
but anyway,
a year ago. You're just smart, babe. Everybody can tell.
No, look, but the point that I was making was,
go ahead.
When you think about gambling, like the first guy that figured out the casino thing, or the first guy that figured out the lottery, that is a guy who read human nature and understands human nature. That's what's going on. And the most successful people on the planet are people that can read human nature. And, you know, people like, you know, you can call Trump whatever you want to call him. But the man, when you see him, I sat and listened to about 2 hours of him last night, and I was like, oh, this is, because the guy's a multi-quadrillionaire, but for some reason he understands the people that he's talking to. And he also knows how to convert that understanding in the physical world. And people that do that, man, whew, I mean, forget it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're always going to have an advantage. So I'm not a very educated person at all. But I learned very, very quickly about the importance of studying people, watching people. And you know, it's saved my life on a couple occasions. And you know, like, being able to read people is such a massive. So my point is, whoever figured this thing out, whoever the first casino or gambling, and you know, gambling, you know, has always been kind of, leaving a decision to fate has always kind of been a human thing. You see it a lot in the ancient Near East. You see it in the Bible. You know, the Urim and the Thummim.
Right.
And, you know, if you take the theology out of it and look at it, it's just somebody saying, oh, this is just, you know, you're just,
see where chance is
doing this to just go with chance, and it gives you a sense of security into going into the unknown.
Yep.
You know, and somebody took that desire and converted that into money. And I think it's been absolutely destructive. but that type of power is unbelievable. And it's a lot of times the difference between living and dying, being rich and poor, being successful or otherwise. I've seen people way more intelligent than me wash out of selection courses because they couldn't even read the instructor. They didn't know what the guy was looking for. So, I mean, it's one of those things, man. But and he says, I need somebody to save me, and there's always this debate in my head about personal responsibility versus our communal responsibility to help each other.
Yeah. Yep.
And there was a lot of like eras in my life where I'm like, you don't need anybody to save you. You screwed up yourself. Too bad. But then as I've been around seeing situations and lives of different people, like literally all over the world, you start going, oh, okay, like this guy got himself into a situation that he can't get himself out of now. It's like, what would you do?
Yeah.
Like let's say there's a thin ice warning or something like that, and the guy is an idiot, and he starts ice skating and he falls into the river. Do you go, too bad, get yourself out? Like, it was his fault that he's through the ice, but now that he's in the water and hypothermia is about to kick in 2.5 minutes, are you going to say that that's his fault too?
Right.
And then how much of it's your fault for watching it happen?
Right.
Like there was that whole horrible story where that basically happened. The guy had been submerged underwater and he was begging these kids to save him. He was 16-year-old kids, and they put it on their phones and they were laughing at that guy. They laughed at him until he stopped yelling for help, and then you could hear the kids say, I think he's dead. And they all started laughing, and then there was this massive outcry, and people were like, we gotta prosecute these kids, and the DA was like, there was nothing that she could do, because they were under no moral legal obligation to help the guy. So when you see like, I need somebody to,
disgusting.
It's yeah.
I didn't see that, did I?
I think you did.
Oh, when I see stuff like that, I feel like I just throw it out of my head. I can't.
Yeah.
That's so painful. Oh my word.
Yeah. And it was crazy because, you would, it was a black guy and it was a bunch of black kids, and there you go.
See, the thing is, like people are like, if my kid ever came to me and told me that they were gay or, all those things, I'd be completely fine. I am telling you, I would have a hard time if my kid did something like that. Stood by and laughed at somebody while they were dying.
Yeah.
That'd be extremely...
Yeah. No, I get you. So, this song, like, lyrically it has a lot of really, I mean, aside from the woohoo, Iron Maiden, sugary,
Sugary lies. No, that's inside joke.
Shout out to the big homie. It's talking about something pretty serious about human nature.
Yeah.
And how far do we go to help those people, and how much is too much? It's something that we talk about with certain people in the village about, like, where is the line between helping somebody
and enabling
somebody?
Yeah,
right.
I never actually realized that there was a difference between that, because I always felt like you should spend yourself in helping other people, and then I think doing the things that we did, that spot that we were working at and stuff, like it made me see that you could literally run your life into the ground for someone who does not care. Like, they have no intention of changing.
Who just see you as a mark.
Right. Yeah. You're just a resource to them.
Yeah.
And so that's when, you have to find it. And I saw, really, honestly, watching you expend your energy in so many different areas with so many different people and stuff like that was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I just... And then after, time passes, you begin to see, like, I remember, there would be a person that was saying, this girl she was crying. She was like, I have no place for my baby. I have no place for myself to go. Like, where am I going to go? Where am I going to stay? And I was like, well, let me bring you down to the shelter, and I'll drive you right down there. I'll get you in. Like, we'll get you all set up, blah, blah, blah. And there was all these excuses and these different things, and like I was like, well, no, I just thought the person was, hesitant because maybe they didn't, they were unsure how to fill out the paperwork, or maybe they had anxiety or whatever, and so. I did all this friggin' legwork to get this person into that shelter, and made phone calls and driven over, and I left. I didn't have time with my family because I was over there trying to get her situated, and I finally got her into the shelter. She didn't even stay that night. She left. Remember that?
Oh.
She didn't. She just left, and then what happened was she didn't. Now I know she didn't want to be at a shelter. She wanted to be in somebody's house, which I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
But instead of just saying that, she was saying all kinds of other things. So I really had no idea what was actually going on. And then, I went through all that trouble, and then she didn't even stay there at all. And once you're at that shelter and you sign in and then you leave, you cannot go back to then you are completely shut out of that shelter. So then she was completely shut out of that situation.
It must be hard trying to kind of discern how to help somebody with a gambling addiction because where we were, it was heroin. With heroin, it was pretty easy to tell when they were using again. Mm-hmm. It was not, and you didn't even have to get like mega skinny or things like that. You just wouldn't see people for weeks, and then they come back and their eyes are all glazy, like you could tell. But how do you tell if somebody's going back to gambling?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Aside from, there was one guy that was like, basically he told me like, take all my money, basically, and
he did.
Yeah, he would say, take all my money, and then when I need something, I want you to, and to me, I was just like...
It's a temporary...
I just didn't feel comfortable doing that, So, but apparently, like, that's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, we did that with somebody, it just, to me, didn't seem like it would work because I felt like the only thing that it did was make more of a liar out of him. Because you have his money, and once he decides he's going to use it, then he's going to come up with some bullshit lie to say why he needs his money. And, like, he came up with some reason, and I'm like, yeah, but it was something like, I got to pay my rent. And I'm like, yeah, but you paid your rent already at the beginning of the month. Like, you don't have to pay any rent right now. And then it was like all this and that and everything else. And then I'm like, why am I in the middle of this? Like... Yeah.
And he was... Especially if you're street, this guy was street through and through. And this guy was a guy who could have done anything. Mm-hmm. The guy is brilliant. Mm-hmm. He'd always talk to me when he's going to run for office. Like, he could have done it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I found that most of the people that were using were really, really smart people. And I just think that when you have like that much, like there are things that you're thinking about and voices you're trying to silence sometimes by finding some sort of an escape, and you just pick the wrong escape,
Yeah. So it might be about that, or it might be about communism versus fascism.
Who knows?
Right? The communists are red and the fascists are black, right? So there you are. Which is very interesting considering our current seats in Laban. Okay, what do you give the song?
9.9. I feel like giving it a 10
it's gonna be a 10.
Okay, 10.
I missed
10.
Maiden.
Yeah.
The instrumentals were insane.
Yeah. Beautifully done. It's good to see their faces too.
Sorry guys, it was very, very long, but it's Iron freaking Maiden, so I don't care.
If you have a problem with it, go somewhere else. Unsubscribe!
Don't listen to her! Subscribe!
If they made it this far, they wouldn't unsubscribe.
That's the other channel. The other channel has the please unsubscribe button on it.
All right.
I had a guy on the other channel. He's like, I'm leaving. You're too mean to Bernie Sanders. I'm like, I'm voting for it. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.